phony rappers who do not write, phony rappers who do not excite, phony rappers. Check it out, alright? Yo, I was riding the train, and this Puerto Rican kid said simple and plain.
What's up? It's me again. And yeah, this is my show again. And yeah, I still don't have a webcam, so you gotta take a picture of the person I'm gonna be defending in this video. Alright. Now, I noticed a lot of people be hating on, John Cena and Bobby Lashley and stuff like that. But I just like to run through a few things, and I'm just gonna address that hate real quick. And I heard a lot of people on here challenging somebody to defend him properly without calling him, idiot, noob, or whatever, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do that. Alright, first of all, one of the main gripes about John Cena was that they say he held on to the title for too long, and that, that he kisses up to Mr. McMahon and stuff like that. But I say that's not true, because Cena's always went to the creative writers wanting to change up his character and stuff. So when you say his character is old, you don't say that about him. Don't use that to hit on him. Use that to hit on the writing staff of the WWE, because he's been wanting to turn heel and add a little character to that championship for a long time, and he doesn't like being this Hulk Hogan like Superman that can overcome the odds, that faces the Andre the Giants of the world like the Big Show and the Great Khali and Umaga and stuff, just so he can up his reputation. He wants to be heel. He wants to be part of that group that held the title and got heat for it, not when he held the title and was a face and gained heat for being a face. Now, that's not Cena's fault. He's been trying to get something different, but he's about to lose the title to Orton. That. I'm not even gonna call Orton something. I'm just gonna call him that. He's talented, but if you know the politics, you wouldn't like Orton that much either. Anyway, now one of the main things that they say about Cena is that the only people that he appeals to are little kids and people who are new to the sport of wrestling and who don't know that much about it yet and haven't seen the real matches. Well, pardon me for saying this, but that's why Hulk Hogan gets as much credit as he does, because most of his fans were little kids and people that had just gotten into wrestling as well. In fact, Hulk Hogan got a lot of people into wrestling with his gimmick, and that's why he gets so much credit. I know Hogan doesn't get a lot of credit because of, his backstage politicking, but still, one of the main reasons that some people got into wrestling was because of Hulk Hogan, and he was a character that could draw in a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, or a preteen, and that's the same kind of character John Cena is, and that's what John Cena is being used for. He's being used to be modern and appeal to the kids so that he could draw them into this generation of wrestling. I mean, if they kept his character just for you strictly teenagers and stuff, no kids would be drawn into wrestling whatsoever. When I see those little kids at his matches wearing the little John Cena shirts and his little spinning belt and stuff like that, and it appeals to them and they cheer for him, I'm happy about that, because John Cena is bringing new faces into the sport of wrestling, and maybe 10 years from now, those kids will still be watching wrestling. So if you're going to give John Cena credit for anything, you have to give him credit for bringing new people into wrestling, because not everybody starts out at wrestling. I mean, if a kid turned on wrestling and stuff and saw just Randy Orton destroying someone, that's not going to draw them in. But if the kids actually have someone that they can look up to and admire, you gotta give Cena credit for being that person, just like Hulk Hogan was all those years ago. But it's one of the main things that main gripes is that people say half of his fans are little kids and stuff, and I say, and that's a bad thing. He's bringing new faces into the sport. What more could you ask for someone like people? And he's the moneymaker for the company right now, but still, he's bringing new faces into the sport, and that's one of the main things you need to look at. That's why half of his people are kids, because he appeals to them, and if he appeals to them, he's bringing new faces into the sport of wrestling. He's bringing in new fans so that they can find out about these matches that you talk about. But if you can't even hook a little kid with a fan, they're not going to learn anything. You need to have someone that's going to appeal to the kids, and John Cena is that person right now, and he is making movies too, those B-list movies just like Hulk Hogan made. He's getting his face out there, and he's bringing new people to the sport of wrestling. that is why he's being used the way he is right now. And I just wanted to address one of the main gripes on him like that. And I'll have a part 2 to this, but I really don't have that much time since I have to get to class. But this is part 1 of my defense of John Cena and Bobby Lashley. And I haven't addressed Bobby Lashley yet, but I don't have time. I gotta go to class. My teacher's knocking on the window. So that's all I'm gonna say about Cena right now. This is part 1 of a probably 3-part series. Just enjoy yourselves and have a great day.
Phony rappers who do not write, phony rappers who do not excite, phony rappers. Check it out, alright? Yo, I was riding a train in this Puerto Rican